did you stop trying to find a way home to your time because you caught feelings?
No. And good for her. That's fine. I really like having running water.
What would break you faster, the lack of hygiene or the lack of human rights as a woman?
Oh, that's hard.
We haven't heard anything about her monthly cycle. How is she dealing with this? What is going on there?
First off, she obviously has some type of hormonal IUD and hasn't had a period since long before she left for Ancient Room.
Oh, that's scary, Becca.
Hey, everyone. I'm Becca. He's Matt, and this is Becca's Book Club Adventure. And we read even more of Timeborne by Sara Samuels.
Indeed, we did. We read chapters 16 to 25, and we're here to relive what happened and discuss the characters and all of our way too many opinions. Okay. So, firstly, I would like to ask, how have you been doing?
Okay.
That was the most loaded one word I think I've heard in a long time.
Okay, so we're 2 weeks into the time change. The first week of the time change is always like, we can do it. It's fine. It's just a little weird. The second week, third week, I don't really know where we are at this point. Now I'm like, oh, it's dark all the time. I don't want to work out, but I do want to work out. So I've been doing a lot of derby. So that's been
Mhm.
taking up time and working out with a friend, but I'm not doing any other exercise, which is not the right answer.
Is that what was I know you texted me kind of in the middle of the week like, so I've only read a couple of chapters. Is is it the time change in the derby that's been messing with you and in your reading or something else?
A little bit of both of those. We like finished Learn to Skate and then we started a new series, which was awesome, but then we had 2 practices in 1 week. And
Woo.
these people, they're amazing. Okay? They practice 3 times a week, and I'm not on the team yet or any of that, so I'm only allowed to come to like so many of them, which is the right number for me.
Okay.
So, I'm just super impressed how much they do derby because my quads are killing me.
As somebody that fell in love with squatting 8 years ago, I can understand the pain you're probably in.
Yeah.
The constant. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're on roller skates, and then to be in derby stance, you basically have to do a full squat, so
Mhm.
so that when people hit you, you are
Have a
sturdy and stable, and you don't go far. And if you do, you're falling close to the ground.
yeah.
Yeah, so then you just squat for 2 hours of practice.
I don't know if I could be in a crouch for that long.
It
And
hurts.
this is somebody that I grew up playing baseball, and I played catcher a lot when I was younger. And now I'm old, and I'm like, I don't think I could be in a squat that long.
And they hit each other while they're on wheels with the intent to move them. The whole goal in derby that I'm learning is that you want to take someone else's space, and by doing that, you boot them out of theirs.
I will remind you, and I'm sure Kevin maybe is. I believe you volunteered for this.
I did 100%, and I'm enjoying all of it. And I've got bruises in all these different places, and I am learning so much. And did you know I can finally skate?
Woo! Congratulations. Have the skates been holding up since you guys like finangled and reset them?
Yes, it was so helpful. All the people on the team are really, really helpful. So I like got there and put them on for the first time, and one of the coaches kind of came over and helped me fix all the wheels. And then by the end of practice, she's like, "You need to loosen your trucks, and we're gonna do this graduated for you."
Okay, there you go. Oh, I'm really happy that you didn't progress a lot this week because I thought I was screwed until I got your text message. I thought I was going to have to do like a not doing anything on Saturday or Sunday, only sitting and reading. Uh, so, anyways, okay, we're 70% of the way into the book now. All right. What let's call it part 2, right? Chapters what did I say? 16 through 25. What is your what would you think of it? Just high level, high opinion.
I am enjoying it. I'm very curious to see where we're going. I'm not sure I like our main characters.
This time, okay, so last episode you said you didn't think you liked Olivia, and now you're including Roman in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that will change by the end of the book. I think that's the author's intent. But yeah, I'm not too pleased with them right now. I kind of want to. Roman, I understand his circumstances,
Do you though?
but I still kind of want to sucker punch him to the face.
Okay, so all right, so in part 1 you're like, I don't think I like Olivia. And now in part 2 you're like, I don't think I like Olivia or Roman. So I'm going to ask, was the story here in part 2 better, the same, or worse than the story in part 1?
Um, I think it's much the same as far as my enjoyment level of it. I
Okay.
think we have taken a 180 and we're going in a new direction, and I'm enjoying that part of it. Um, and I'm still excited to see where we're going.
We are aligned, just
That makes
so
me feel
you're
better.
aware. Um I don't dislike the characters, but I have also read the entire book, so I kind of know the general arc of what's happening. But they are very frustrating, and um, being on my second read, I think, quite frankly, knowing where they go, their current mindset and all of this stupid bullshit that they're doing is almost even more frustrating. Like, anyway, um, and I will say that I know I mentioned it in part 1 that some of the stuff was very different than the first time I read it through Sarah's, edits and whatever. Same holds true in part 2. I don't recall reading several things that we've
Oh,
read. So it is much better. The trend of it being better than my first read is continuing, and that gives me great satisfaction and great hope.
I'm still so intrigued by this concept that it was written one way the first time and then it got re-released.
I am too. But Sarah is a self-published author, and I guess just you do what you want, you know? There's
As
no
you
publishing
should.
house to reprint and whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So, uh
I mean, people come out with all the different cover editions, so why not actually have different editions of the book with different, slightly different context or takes or blah, blah, blah.
yeah, I know we live in a capitalistic society and we all got to hustle to make a dollar. Um I'm not going to lie, the like 35 editions of the same book kind of bothers me. Like I get it. Give me the paperback, give me the hardcover, and give me the like collector's edition with like the sprayed edges and the one-off cover art and stuff. But like, can we just leave it there? Do we need 8 versions of the collector's edition where each of them have different color sprayed edge and the art is slightly different? So like it's almost like you have to collect all 8.
That's analysis paralysis for me because my budget is like, no, you absolutely will not. You can barely get one. So
My
then if you
budget
give
is go to the library.
right? So if you give me too many options, then it becomes I'm not reading it.
Yeah. So I like that Sarah, if you go to her website, she has printed all of her books. You can buy hard copies of all of her books, but I think you can only buy Timeborne, the first one, as a standalone, and everything else is like a collector's edition. And otherwise, it's all ebook. And I I kind of enjoy her, what we can call it, money making model. I like that. Anyway, lots happened in just these 9 chapters.
Should we maybe recap the story?
Yes, let's do that. If anybody listening would like to join in on our conversation, feel free to leave us a comment or review. You can throw us an email at bookclubbybecca@gmail.com, or as always, slide into our DMs on Instagram. We are at Becca's Book Club Adventure.
Okay, Matt, do you want to kick off the recap?
I would love to. Okay. Olivia and Roman had a coming to Jesus talk where Olivia opened up to Roman about her trauma and her demons. And then Olivia left Roman to get him his dinner and sleeping drought. And that is where we left off last time.
Next thing we know, Olivia is shaking Roman awake from a night terror because Roman did not take his sleeping drought.
After nearly unaliving Olivia, Roman opens up and tells Olivia his story and his traumas that haunt his dreams every night.
He came to Rome 9 years ago at the age of 21. If you're doing the math, friends, that means he's 30 now.
He tried to make an honest living in Rome, but couldn't for one reason and another, so he resorted to stealing in order to stay alive.
Roman was caught and thrown into prison, where eventually he was given the option of staying in prison or fighting in the gladiator arena to earn his freedom. He obviously, or maybe not obviously, chose the gladiator option.
And after being beaten mercilessly in the first match by Marcellius, gotta love that full circle moment, right? Roman was nursed back to health and trained by Gaius, Amara's husband, until Roman became completely unbeatable in the arena.
Marcellius was jealous of Roman's rise and conspired with the emperor to force Roman to fight his best friend, Marcus, another gladiator, to death in order to gain his freedom. Marcus only asked that Roman take care of his wife and son afterwards. That son is Anthony.
But Marcellius, as we now know, kind of intervened into that situation.
On top of that, Roman was torn away from his family, including his parental twin brother, a long time ago and has nobody to share this pain with until Olivia.
With both of their secrets and pasts laid bare, Olivia and Roman form a truce and vow to work and train together as a team. Hilariously, and this is my favorite little detail in the entire section, Amara is immediately suspicious of their courteous behavior towards one another.
The next day, Roman comes home from, how do you say that word?
Praetorian.
From Praetorian duty, and the two began their training sessions, which is immediately a bit steamy and surrounded by barely masked desire. In an effort to diffuse the obvious tension, Roman invites Olivia to accompany him to the emperor's birthday party next week. Olivia breathlessly accepts.
The two get ready as though they're attending a Hollywood awards show and even ride in a red chariot to the emperor's palace.
The emperor himself seats Olivia and Roman at the table, right across from Marcellus.
Servants circulate with appetizers and wine. Cirque du Soleil-esque acrobats provide entertainment, and musicians fill the palace with revelry. It is decadent beyond belief.
The party climaxes in the evening's entertainment, a gladiator fight between Roman and Marcellus. And so the party moves from the palace to the Colosseum.
The fight ebbs and flows, and there's no shortage of spilled blood until Olivia can't take it anymore and she bolts from the arena. She finds their chariot and curls up in a little ball inside of it for the night.
I do appreciate when we first leave for the Colosseum, Olivia is starstruck. She's like, I've learned about this in textbooks, and now I'm here. Anywho, Roman finds her like that after the fight, and he's wounded, but very much alive, and he's realized something.
He's fallen completely, hopelessly, and madly in love with Olivia, and he tells her so. They start making out. Like I love this. It was just so sixth grade, right? They make out and explore one another's bodies quite thoroughly. So, okay, well, maybe more like sophomore in high school.
But just as the pleasure grows towards a climax of sorts, Olivia is knocked backwards. She looks up and sees a figure cloaked in black with a red gleam in his eyes. A figure that haunts her dreams. A figure she swears she saw unalive her mother.
Olivia and Roman try to fight it, but each time their feet or fists but each time, comma, their fists or feet pass right through it like smoke. They cannot touch it, but it sure can touch them.
Still, they try to fight until Olivia is trapped with a knife against her neck, just about at the point where she's ready to give up. And I mean, give up.
Mm-hmm.
Roman pulls out an old-timey looking gun and shoots the Shadow Man, and he dissipates.
Gun? Roman has a gun? What the F is going on?
Roman tries to begin an explanation, but Olivia won't be lied to again. She won't have her trust broken again. She grabs the horse and gallops away from the betrayer. It's a theme of hers.
It really, really is. Yeah. She apparently cannot believe that he lied to her and kept a secret part of himself, a part of himself secret since the day that they met, as though she hasn't been doing the exact same thing. That's my commentary, not me summarizing the plot. Just so we're clear.
Roman gallops after her and catches up on the beach. He tries to explain to her that she's in danger, that they are both in danger, because the darkness found them.
Olivia, too heartbroken and angry to take in his words, doesn't want anything to do with him.
He begs her to come home, if only for her weapons, and leaves her. Olivia cries on the beach until dawn and then returns to Roman's house.
Can we take a moment to pause and simply appreciate how cinematic this scene is?
Yes.
On the beach. It is raining, by the way, everybody. At night, you know there's no light pollution, so there's going to be a full set of stars and moon in the sky coming down, the ocean, the rain, the fight. Anyhow, okay. She walks straight to her room where her Glock and dagger are waiting for her on her bed. So naturally, she strips out of her tattered dress, clutches her weapons to her chest, gets under the covers, and falls into a deep, dreamless sleep.
Olivia slips back into helping Amara with the housework, and days pass blurring together, all while she and Roman ignore or avoid each other.
One day, Roman comes home and announces that he's been promoted to centurion and is being deployed with the army to Caledonia, which is modern day Scotland, if you were curious. Anybody? Anyways, Amara is to accompany him as a healer, and Olivia is coming as Amara's assistant, as per the orders of the Emperor. Talk about a plot pivot.
Hard.
Yeah.
The next day at dawn, they make their way to a port where they board a ship and sail out into the Mediterranean.
Olivia and Amara are separated for Roman because women, right? They work and sleep below decks while Roman remains shackled to the emperor's every whim. For over a week, they endure seasickness and several bone-shattering sea battles until they finally land in Britannia.
The time spent alone and apart doesn't help Olivia's spiraling thoughts. Was Roman a time traveler? If he was, where had he come from? Was Roman his real name? And then there's the darkness. He seemed to know so much about it. Too much, as if he understood its motives, origins, and merciless purpose. How could he know all of this?
That was a direct copy and paste from the book, by the way. I thought Sarah wrote that perfectly. I was just like, copy, paste.
I don't even remember reading that, but yeah, it's perfect.
Roman tries to make amends with Olivia as the army mobilizes, but she meets his attempts with frosty, icy silence.
One evening, after reaching their destination and setting up camp, Amara arranges for Olivia to be in good spirits so that Roman can meet with her and talk.
Roman apologizes and confesses more undying love. Just as he's about to begin telling her the rest of his story, he's summoned back to the Emperor by Marcellius. Olivia, in my humble opinion, foolishly, promises to wait for him.
Marsilius informs Roman that he will no longer be leading the elite soldiers. Instead, he's been demoted to training the slave ranks, while Marsilius was promoted to lead the elite soldiers.
Maintaining his poise is difficult, but he doesn't let any emotion show. After leaving Marcellius, Roman uses a nearby tree as a punching bag.
Hard. As calm anger replaces fury, Roman strides into the Emperor's tent and interrupts a visceral scene of sexual debauchery.
Yeah, I didn't know how else to summarize that. Anyhow,
Yep, accurate.
in response to Roman's demand for an explanation, the Emperor informs him that it is because of his distraction with Olivia, but the promotion could easily be reinstated if only Roman would share Olivia with him. Yee.
Roman declines and seals his demotion. Emotionally drained, Roman collapses in his tent, forgetting about Olivia entirely.
So Roman throws himself into training the slaves, vowing to make them an equal match to the elite soldiers. Whenever he finds a spare moment, Roman does ride over to the women's camp, but Olivia is never there when he arrives.
For 2 days, Olivia's thoughts spiral out of control as she waits for Roman to return. Is Roman okay? Has something happened to him? Did he betray her again?
And then other thoughts add to the spiral. Tristan, her father, Moon Lee, her mother, the darkness.
And then her tent flat is thrown aside in the pitch black, and Roman is there, and he needs her.
You guys, chapter 25 can only be described as the steamiest, most salacious, spicy scene I think I've ever read. It is hot. It is an entire chapter. Go read it. If you don't read the book, read that for real.
Afterwards, Olivia needs to know the truth, and Roman gives it to her.
The truth, just so we're clear, he gives that to her. Anyhow, he's a Timeborn, just like she is.
Hey guys, we need to interrupt this episode to thank this episode's sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by the Aftercare Awareness Alliance, reminding romantasy characters everywhere that just because the scene fades to black doesn't mean your responsibilities do.
That's right. Did you just emotionally and physically ruin each other under a blood moon in a forgotten ruin somewhere by enchanted fog?
Cool. Now get cleaned up, grab some water, some electrolytes, maybe a snack, and actually talk to your partner, you emotionally constipated danger noodle.
Our certified aftercare advocates provide post-glow affirmations, a blanket that isn't made of leather armor, and a list of questions you should ask before you bite them.
Side effects of skipping aftercare may include dehydration from excessive panting, the quiet realization that no one brought a towel, and infected wounds carved like ancient Jackson Pollock runes across your back.
The Aftercare Awareness Alliance, because passion is powerful, but so is bringing a damp cloth and a plan.
And back to the show.
I can't believe you wrote all of that up.
I think that might be my favorite thing I've ever written.
Yeah, I was laughing the whole time as I was reading this before it, because I was like, I don't want to be caught off guard. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to struggle to say all of this out loud.
I know, I think you already read this, but my favorite part of writing these ads is getting your reaction when you read them. Okay, all right. So the deep dive discussion. It feels as though we could start at the beginning and work our way to the end, or we could just start right with the spicy scene and Roman's revelation and then work backwards. Where would you like to start?
Let's move forward in the plot line.
Okay. Recentering my brain. All right. So let's start with Roman and Olivia's relationship, I think, is kind of the beginning of this.
And I'm going to start it with a prediction. I think she's going to run off on a horse 3 more times before the end of this book.
Three more times.
Homegirl will not sit and listen.
It is very frustrating to me that her natural reaction as a martial artist who has training in controlling her emotions, allegedly, her natural reaction seems to be to bolt.
And I can understand the internal fury being a shit show. But also in that same vein, don't you want the information so you can continue to make calculated decisions?
Yeah, especially because she's 25. It's not like she's 16 or 18, right? She's 25. Um one would think that she would have a bit more poise. Maybe not the same as a 40-year-old, but do you think that Olivia's fragile trust and her emotional swings are justified and warranted or not?
I think people's individual reactions are their own to hold. So I'm going to say maybe yes, they're warranted, but I wouldn't do the same thing.
No. One of the things I've noticed on this second reread that is definitely some type of edit or addition. So in the first time I read it, you definitely get some of Olivia's monologue,
Mm.
internal monologue, but not as much as we read. That was expanded, and we got Roman's internal monologue as well, which I don't remember reading that at all, if I'm being honest. So Sarah definitely expanded all of their feelings, the ebb and flow of their feelings. Um, I you sent me a text message where I think it was like you had pretty much finished the reading and you were like, oh, so yeah, I don't, or maybe you sent me the text message when Roman shot the Shadow Man, or I'm not sure when, but you're like, yeah, okay, I didn't trust any of his like emotional
Therapy talk.
baggage dump. Yeah.
Yep.
Um, I immediately didn't trust his therapy talk when it started with, I came to Rome when I was 21. Um, but what was the impetus for you not trusting his emotional baggage dump?
It was too modern of what I would think people would think about back then. Because
Yeah.
what I know of Rome, it was a eat or be eaten world. Now I have not read a lot of Roman history, and obviously there's many Roman philosophers, so there were people
Mhm.
that had lots of means and a good life, but I think there was probably a lot more folks that did not and were like Roman, stealing to get by. And when you are stuck in that type of environment, you typically will do anything to help you survive, not
Mhm.
talk about your feelings.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. But now we know he's a Timeborn.
Yeah.
Okay. When do you think he's from?
Well, he has a gun,
Mhm.
and it wasn't called a musket.
It was described
So
as old-timey.
old timey makes you think like westerns.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go. I'm thinking like 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s.
Okay. From where? America?
I don't know.
Hmm. I do.
I know you know. That's why I need to read 100 more pages.
No, it'll be good. Okay, so Roman invites her to the Emperor's birthday party. I want to get your take on the birthday party. The way it was described, the events, all of the things.
I'm still struggling with why did she go, but that's a whole bucket of worms. The description of the feast was really lovely to read about. Just, I don't know. I like a lot of good descriptions. And I liked Olivia's awe in the moment. She had a lot of awe finally for being in a historical time period and maybe was not caught up in her trauma for a little bit. So I enjoyed reading through her perspective of like finally like, okay, I should enjoy myself. But I was also a little on edge, right? So they start off with they're greeted with like a drink.
Mm-hmm.
And Roman is like, well, I'm not drinking unless you're drinking. And so then they have a drink. And then we proceed to the gladiator thing. And I'm like, he's poisoned. She's poisoned. They're going down. This is all part of the Emperor's messed up world. And then when they proceed to the Colosseum and Olivia is drug up with the Emperor, all of that feels so unrealistic in regards to Olivia is shouting at the Emperor of Rome. How the hell did she not die?
I'm really glad you brought some of this stuff up because Elizabeth and I go for walks down by the river and stuff, and I was like, I don't know if I can talk to Becca about the whole like realism of ancient Rome piece because like that's my academic background and whatever. So I like ranted at her for an hour while we were walking. But it's not a bad rant. I think Sara Samuels has done an amazing job with being historically accurate and mixing it with completely historically inaccurate bullshit to help the plot and the relationships and the characters. And I really appreciate that. Like the Emperor's birthday party was described so realistically and well. Like Rome was not a whole bunch of ancient scholars sitting around in the thinking man's pose.
Mhm.
Like it was debaucherous. It was party central. It was the idea that they jumped up on tables and just kicked the food and the drinks everywhere was like a real thing. Like they were just drunken idiots at times, especially when they were rich. Anyway, not to go too far into that, but I enjoyed how Sara described it, and I enjoyed the fact that, like you said, Olivia was in awe of the enormity and grandeur of everything.
Yeah.
I do think it's highly unrealistic that she was even there.
Yes.
She would have been probably considered property of some kind because the Emperor gifted her, and I highly
Yes.
doubt Roman would have brought his property to such a prestigious event, especially knowing that he would be fighting in the pit.
Yes.
And also, yeah, she would have been killed like outright for talking to the Emperor, let alone talking back to the Emperor.
Right? I was like, homegirl, do you have no self-defense mechanisms?
Shadow Man arrived. Interrupted some spiciness.
Yeah. All of that was a little bit of a whirlwind scene. When I think it was just now when we talked about her tattered dress, I was like, oh, it's tattered from the knife the shadow dude has. I was like, how does her dress get tattered? That's how. That's how.
Yeah. Yeah, I
She
think it
told us. I
was
just didn't read it.
it was his knife, and I think she also described him as like having claws. Like not
Mhm.
like tiger claws, but like super sharp ass nails or something. He reminded me, your dad loves The Matrix. Have you seen the Matrix movies enough for this reference?
We'll find out.
Okay. In the, I believe it's the second movie, there's a set of twins that work for the Merrill Vinci that like can turn transparent and walk through doors and stuff. So the Shadow Man completely reminds me of that. Like
Yeah.
he's solid, but then can like make himself transparent or whatever, gaseous, right as somebody's going to touch him. That's the vibe I had every time I was like seeing a Matrix fight in my head while I was reading this
Right?
chapter. Um,
And she gives up hard. She's like, just kill me now. It's not worth it.
yeah, it was a little dark,
Yeah.
but like I get it. I am, uh, I went back and reread the scene where her mom is unalived. And the way fifth grader Olivia kind of describes it is that she and the Shadow Man kind of seem to know each other and they have a brief conversation. But in this scene in Rome, there's zero conversation. And I'm just sort of perplexed at the difference there.
Yeah.
Okay, so was the Shadow Man there for Olivia or for Roman now that we know he's a Timeborn?
Are you asking this question because you know the answer?
I do not know the answer.
I feel like this, with Roman's thing at the end that he's a Timeborn, opens up so many more questions. So, did Roman pick ancient Rome to go back to for a reason? Or did he end up there on that trajectory without his consent, like Olivia? And if so, how did two Timeborns come to the same time period and find each other? Because this feels like something incredibly fanciful, because there's only so many Timeborns ever, right? They're every 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
So he would be 100 years younger than Olivia. That's what I've decided. She was
Okay.
born in the 90s, so he would have been the 1890s.
Okay.
Anywho,
One
yeah.
plot point that bothers me a lot. If he's a Timeborn, ostensibly he has a black magic dagger of his own,
Yes.
which means that when he confiscated Olivia's dagger when she first got to Rome, he knew exactly what that motherfucker was.
Yeah.
Could have produced his own, they could have openly talked about this.
Yeah.
There would have been no judgment, like
He clearly stopped his therapy short, okay?
um yeah, obviously we have not seen the last of the Shadow Man. So that'll obviously be super interesting to read about, but they get shipped to Scotland instead, which I found amazing. And I loved that was some more of the historical accuracy that I loved from Sarah, that it was uncomfortable to read.
Yeah. They were stuck at the bottom of a boat. They had no rights to go out. They were seasick the whole time. Olivia risked her life at one point to go look to see if the battle was over and then came back down.
Um, it was like you get like the talk about the obviously the female hangers on of the army, the hose. Just like you can hear all of the pleasure making through the walls of the ship, and like a lot of those particular women didn't make it, so they were just unceremoniously tossed over the side. Like
Breath.
trauma, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but they get there. Whole bunch of crap happens. Roman is training the slaves, and I know we texted about this, but a piece that I didn't include in the recap is Roman forces them to go on an 18-mile hike through the Scottish woodland areas with 45 pounds of like rucksack and armor on their backs. And he was pissed off that they only did that in 2 hours.
That's 6.5 minute miles?
Ish.
I can't run that without a 45-pound rucksack. I would need like a 30% decline to get that kind of speed.
I think he was like, we're gonna do this again and again and again until you guys knock off like 30 minutes from your time.
And he said something about the full length, which I presume would then be a marathon, given that length has its history in Rome.
Yes, but let's assume that it's still just the 18 miles. So it's going to go from 120 minutes to 90 minutes. So that would be 18 miles divided by, or I'm sorry, 90 minutes divided by 18 miles would be a 5-minute mile. He wants these effers to do a 5-minute mile through. And if anybody's seen any pictures of Scotland, this is not central Ohio. This is not Kansas. This is not Iowa. This is not flat. It is hilly as shit.
Can you run a 5-minute mile?
I could in high school when I was the captain of the cross country team.
Okay.
But also I was wearing like nothing, and I had special shoes that weighed 1.5 ounces a pop. And like you puke your guts out at the end of that race. And I was only doing 3 miles.
Yeah.
18 miles, 5-minute mile average. Like, what do the modern day Olympians run like for those long distance Olympic events? Like 3.5-minute miles?
I think it was like 4.5 is the record that was just set. Yeah. Oh, nope, I'm wrong. 250. 250 was his pace.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, no. Sorry. 250 kilometers. So his minute per mile pace was 4:30. I was right. I was pretty good with my guess. 4:30. Now he runs that consistently for 26 miles, which is outrageous.
Yeah, like okay, so like the 5,000-meter event and the 10,000-meter event and a marathon event look like they're somewhere around 4-minute average mile pacing
Mm-hmm.
for men, 4.5
Mm-hmm.
to 5 minutes for the women. That's just, and Roman wants them to do 5-minute miles. Crazy. I don't know enough to know if that's like historically accurate in the realm, or if the author made like a slight miscalculation.
Yep. No idea.
But either way, crazy. But it's okay. It's all okay because they have sex.
So if this is the steamiest scene you've ever read, does that mean which was the second book of the Cursed?
The Cursed.
You think this was steamier than that?
More passionate.
Oh, that's fair.
I think The Cursed is more explicit. I think it's more pornographic. I think it's maybe more hardcore, but I think this was the most like passionate, like sexy, not just giving her the business.
Mm-hmm. I think because I'm not fully in love with our characters, I'm like, I don't know about that.
I mean, this scene did start a little porn movie-esque.
A little bit.
Olivia, I'm here. Make yourself ready for me. I mean, he didn't say all that, but
That was the vibes.
it was the vibe. It was like, yes, I'm going to tell you everything, but first I just need comfort. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah. Also, we definitely could have started with I'm a Timeborn.
Yeah, a little bit.
That probably would help the bonding a little bit more.
But hey, she climaxed twice. He was a gentleman. He only did it once. Okay. Obviously we're going to end. We need to end with Oh, I did want to tell you this. I don't know if you looked this up or anything, but um, Emperor Severus was indeed the emperor at this
Huh?
time, so historical accuracy. And
Okay.
his reign was most notable because he did, in fact, invade Caledonia with 50,000 men in 208 and some of 209. And there's a very famous wall in Scotland.
I feel like this is just evidence that even when you think things are historically inaccurate, that doesn't mean that they didn't actually look things up and do it out of literary plot device or whatever you want to call
Yeah, it is
author's
called
discretion.
Hadrian's Wall, and um, the wall kind of existed before Severus invaded, but the big thing that this particular army did was they like reinforced the shit out of this wall and built it really really high, and it marked the most northern point that the Roman army ever got to when trying to conquer Britain. And if we're being honest, I think I can't verify this 100%, but I think that is why Scotland even exists as a country, because Rome couldn't um, conquer it, and that's why Scotland has always remained separate from Britain itself, given that Britain conquered everything and whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm thinking, if I remember correctly, Emperor Severus, his reign ended in either 208 or 209.
Hmm.
So we're at the very end of his reign. Okay. We will end with some. I want to know what you're thinking is going to happen in the last third of the book or whatever. But I did have a couple of questions that came to my mind as I was reading that I wanted to ask you as a female, um, kind of specifically. And obviously I will be uh selfish and give some of my own answers. But
Mhm.
okay, first one. Given that we are from the time we are, we'll just call it 2019 because that's when Olivia was from, and you unwillingly travel back to ancient Rome, would you stop trying to find a way home to your time because you caught feelings?
No.
I kind of feel like that's exactly what Olivia does, though.
Yeah. And good for her. That's fine. I really like having running water.
Okay, so that leads perfectly into my next question. What would break you faster, the lack of hygiene or the lack of human rights as a woman?
Oh, that's hard.
And you don't have to think of yourself as in ancient Rome generally, but you could just put yourself in Olivia's shoes, given that she's living in relative comfort.
Because I've been backpacking before, but I haven't been backpacking for a long enough period to see when that falls apart. And I have had a lot of human rights, but also we're in an interesting time period where we're trying to decide, do women get human rights still?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the human rights thing would be more of an issue for me.
I like your answer. That helps me with the book because that seems to be Olivia's hang up a lot of the time. Even though she doesn't voice it, that
Mhm.
seems to be what she acts out against most.
Oh yeah, I would
So,
definitely be killed for doing something really dumb. I would be Olivia yelling at the emperor.
but you have a problem with her giving up with the Shadow Man. That's funny.
Yeah, I do.
Is that because Olivia should be dead before the Shadow Man even arrived?
Honestly, there are so many time points where I'm shocked she didn't die.
Okay. And my last question that came up, something dear Sara Samuels, dear all authors, somebody needs to write about this. I think the only author that ever touched on this was Sarah J. Maas with Alida, Elida, whatever her name is. Anyhow, Olivia has lived in ancient Rome and now Scotland for over 6 months now, going on close to a year. I don't know, somewhere in there. We haven't heard anything about her monthly cycle. Given all of your like modern day 2019 knowledge, habits, solutions for it, how is she dealing with this? How would you deal with this? Would you have any idea? What would you do? What is going on there?
First off, she obviously has some type of hormonal IUD and hasn't had a period since long before she left for ancient Rome.
Oh, that's scary, Becca. What if you can't get back to modern day after like a decade and that thing is no good anymore?
Well, that's a whole study in and of itself. Second off, free bleeding must have been one of the solutions at that point in time.
I forgot IUDs were a thing. I mean, my lovely better half does not have one of those, so it's not a thing on my mind. But okay, all right, that helps the plot a lot.
Yep.
Um, hmm, crazy. Do you think that is a problem in fantasy books that is a thing that's never addressed, or do you just not give a shit?
I feel like it's actually addressed, not by a ton of authors, but by a chunk of authors. Like, I think it's becoming more common to talk about it. I think that in and of itself, actually, hygiene as a whole is really not addressed.
That's
Like,
true. Yeah,
doesn't have to be period. It could be aftercare, as we
aftercare.
put it. Also, just like we've been on the march for months and we haven't bathed, but also like that's a little realistic too.
Yeah.
Like you didn't bathe a lot back then
Hmm.
because you couldn't. So I don't know. I
Okay,
appreciate it when it's addressed. I understand why some would choose not to.
I do too. I think like Elida. How do you pronounce her name?
I thought it was a lie.
Allied. Okay. In my mind, I was doing a play on the word melody, but I appreciated that that was a thing for her, and Lorcan would like rip up his shirt so that she could stuff, and it kind of helped their relationship in a really weird, esoteric plot way. But I guess all these other lead female characters are just running around with a device that they don't have a period for ever.
Or they're free bleeding and it's not worth mentioning.
That would be worth mentioning. Just like, okay. What do you think is going to happen in the second third? I will say that your predictions from the first episode we did have not come true yet. Mainly because in this one, they just threw the whole wrench of invading Scotland. So, have any of your predictions or thoughts changed? What are they currently? Where is this going?
I think we're going to solidify our relationship. I think at the end of this book, we're going to time travel together.
Okay. I don't think that's what you said last episode.
I don't remember what I said.
I think last time you said that you thought they were going to figure out the time travel stuff, but
Mhm.
not they, just Olivia, because obviously Roman was not on your radar at the time.
Yep.
Um, but they were going to still be in ancient Rome at the end. So you think they're going to time travel?
Yep.
Is that going to be what they do and the book goes the end? Or do they time travel and we have a chapter or two of developing a cliffhanger of some type?
Nope, I think it blacks out with they time travel and you don't get to know where until the next book.
Okay. From where did they time travel? Are we sticking in Scotland? We going back to Rome? We going somewhere else? Before they time travel. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
get to. Yeah.
Oh, before the the book finishes in Scotland.
Okay.
Took us weeks to get there. We ain't taking weeks to get back. We only got 100 pages left.
And
This isn't no islands and Onyx Storm shit.
okay. Any predictions concerning some of the secondary characters like the Emperor or Marcellius or Amara or
Well, you hinted
Anthony?
hard that the Emperor might be dying at the end of this book. If she maintains historical accuracy.
In real life history, I can't remember if it's 209. It might be 209 that his reign comes to an end. So, I mean, technically, we still have like 2-ish years, year and a half at least. Okay. Marcellius, Anthony, Amara.
I feel like Antony, I don't know what's going on with him because I don't know if he's in Scotland or not.
He's not. He's still back in Rome.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of which, I thought that was a beautiful little circular thing that Anthony is the son of Roman's best friend. Kind of.
That she trains.
Yeah. Anyhow, go ahead.
I think Amara pushes the two of them along a little bit more. I'm sure Marcelius does something that will be annoying as shit before the end of this book.
What a douchebag.
Yeah, that's all he's good for.
Especially because Amara's like, he wasn't always a mean guy. I'm like, he wasn't.
If you have to say that, that's concerning.
All right, so we are sticking in Scotland, and Roman and Olivia are time traveling, and the book goes to black.
You got it.
Okay.
None of that will happen.
We will see what happens. So,
well, let's put a bookmark in it for now. We'll be back with part 3 of Timeborne, followed by a full book review. We'll discuss our overall thoughts and ratings and what we're going to be reading in the next book. So, and if so, what we think will happen.
Don't forget to leave us a happy little comment. Send us a beautiful little email. Our contact information is down in the description.
Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.